Who is funding the hashtag Occupy Luthuli House movement? And did the organizers exhaust all avenues before marching to the ANC headquarters? Is Ronald Lamola perhaps bitter for not having made it to the ANC Youth League presidency? Is the ANC Youth League still calling for an early elective conference? What time is it? It's question time. Welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. Earlier today, the African National Congress Secretary General Gwede Mantashe received a memorandum from the organizers of the Occupy Luthuli House movement. The much-awaited march was largely incident-free, apart from a minor scuffle when some MK veterans are reported to have tried to prevent the marchers from handing over their memorandum to Gwede Mantashe. Amongst others, they are calling for the resignation of both President Jacob Zuma and the party's National Executive Committee. A lot continues to happen within the ANC, though most of these having emanated from the party's poor performance during last month's local government elections. Meanwhile, questions relating to discipline among the ANC rank and file, particularly within the Youth League, continue to emerge, with some provincial structures not seeing eye to eye with the League's national leadership. We are live, and therefore you can call us your views. The numbers to dial 089-110-4210. Before we get into the discussion, let's have a look at this clip by Colin Maine.
We would not allow people to be used by monopoly capital and call themselves members of the ANC. We know that they are funded by people who want regime change, who are very impatient to the ANC government. And some of them, we can't account for them. It's quite unfortunate that some are members of the ANC.
Okay, that's the ANC Youth League president there, Colin Maine. My guest today, Mlondolozi Mkhize, is the ANC Youth League spokesperson, and Ronald Lamola is also with the hashtag Occupy Luthuli House movement. He's an organizer there. So, gentlemen, welcome to Question Time, and I really appreciate you making time. Ronald, let me start with you. Occupy Luthuli House. Did you achieve what you intended when you basically sat down to conceive this concept of marching to the ANC headquarters?
Yes, we have. We have submitted the memorandum, which was our sole intention. We have laid our grievances the same way that Chris Hani and the 8 others did in Morogoro when they were aggrieved about processes in the camps. They wrote a letter to the President General of the ANC, O.R. Tambo. We delivered our grievances, and we believe that they're going to be engaged amongst the structures across the country. We are going to continue to participate in our branches, but also continue to conscientize society, because the ANC does not only lead itself, but is a societal organization.
Were you happy with the events around the delivery of your memorandum? You almost didn't deliver it. I mean, MKMVA was there saying, actually, no, you are not even supposed to be given that opportunity.
No, in fact, we were very shocked by that. This is a democratic country. The ANC is no longer an underground organization. It's an organization that is operating in a transparent society. But the biggest problem we have is that we really do not understand why do we still need the MKMVA 20 years into democracy. I think now what we need, what should be a weapon to our people, should be free education, should be ballpoints, should be tablets. That is what must be made as a weapon for economic struggle. Why do you need an MKMVA in a peaceful country? You know, their task should just be to deal with the welfare of the soldiers. That is what is expected of them. They are now going beyond and becoming a private military junta.
What do you want out of the ANC?
We want the restoration of the values of the ANC, the values that O.R. Tambo is known for, the values that have been known of the selflessness, the ANC that will be able to be a leader of society that all South Africans can identify with, because South Africans love the ANC, but they can no longer identify with the ANC that is there today. And when we march, when we engage, when we raise our issues, is because of out of love to restore its values, because it is clear if our generation, which is going to lose the most, if the ANC disintegrate, does not do anything, we are going to be like the generation of Zimbabwe that is standing up now when it is too late.
Kabazal, the ANC Youth League was not impressed.
Well, we would know that we have long made it public that we don't agree with the call that they were making of occupying Luthuli House. But what they did is better than what we thought that they would do. But we still disagree because we feel that ANC has got internal processes. I'm happy that Comrade Lamula makes mention of the letter that led to what is known in the African National Congress as the Consultative Morogoro Conference. He would know and would agree with me that that letter was never made public, but it was submitted to leadership and structures of the organization, and then the leadership responded. So I'm quite sure that you would equally agree that what they've done is slightly different from what the generation of Comrade Chris and the 8 others did. So what we are saying in essence as the Youth League is that we have got no problem with the comrades who have got issues to raise with the organization, but all issues ought to be raised internally in the organization, and that's what we expect out of every member of the African National Congress. You can imagine, Mpho, that if every member of the African National Congress were to voice his or her disappointment and mobilize society, most probably Luthuli House would be the busiest place in South Africa, because every day you might find people coming from various corners coming to raise their grievances. That's why we say internal processes are the best way to go, so that we don't have time consumed outside monitoring who's marching, is he violent, is not violent, then to deal with the issues. Because if you submit it, there is no sense that there is violence, there is no need to call police, there is no need for MKMVA to protect Luthuli House. They will simply be doing what they usually do on a normal day, and the leadership will process the issues as raised.
Itumeleng, you're in Pretoria. Welcome.
Thank you, Mpho.
Go ahead.
You know what I think? I think if the democratic processes of the ANC were working very well within the branches, we were not going to have what we are having now. I think people are resorting to this because of, even if they submit their issues through branches, those issues, they are not well attended. And if I want to ask about the issue of the MKVA, I mean, it's like I think we have a Department of Military Veterans,
yes,
and then we have Department of Defense.
Yes.
I mean, who's funding the military, the MKVA, the Department of Military Defense? If it is the taxpayers' money, then why are the MKA as if they belong to the ANC? Why don't they belong to the Department of
Well,
Defense?
MKMVA belongs to the ANC.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's deal with some of the questions raised. Are the processes within the ANC sufficient? Did you explore them?
I mean, the processes Mpho have failed. Reverend Chikane raised issues in a letter. The Constitutional Court made a ruling. The NEC move around the country. There is no clear accountability. There is no sense of agency. And the country is moving to a serious decline. The organization is moving to a serious decline. We are again now embarking on another consultation after the local government elections, when the leadership knows the problem. All of us.
What is the problem?
The problem is the kleptocratic cartel that has captured the ANC for personal benefits.
Who are
and
those?
it is headed at the helm by the president in the ANC, because he represents all those that are wrong things. I mean, Kandla, the allegations on the capturing of the Guptas, the report being whitewashed, all those things, they represent a very wrong organization.
You don't speak like, you don't sound, well, maybe you speak, but you don't sound like an ANC comrade, you know, Ronald?
There is no sound of an ANC comrade.
Well,
I mean,
let me...
I think that it's a very disingenuous blackmail. If a member of the ANC is concerned, he must be able to raise his views in any other way that he feels it should be raised, and in any platform in society, because what I'm talking about is already a societal matter.
Do you agree?
Well, I would agree that there are many factors that had contributed to some of what we call a decline today, because the one mistake that people tend to do, which I think that Lamula is doing as well, is to attribute the decline of the African National Congress to a person. It's not possible. Let me say why. And I can make mention of many examples, but I want to use this example I've used many times. let's take what for. In eThekwini, in Janga, people are not happy in the internal process of the ANC. Some person decides to be an independent candidate. That person gets elected. It means those votes that went to that person would have went to the African National Congress. Is Jacob Zuma to blame? No. The question should be, did the REC of eThekwini manage the issue very well? That's another question. So you can't say that it's a matter of just an individual. That Mpho you will find across the country.
They are saying the individual and the entire collective must go.
Well, I'm not too sure. You see, there's an element that I don't understand with what the Comrade Lamula and others are raising. For instance, they are saying that NEC members must resign, right? Then they resign. So should they resign in government as well? You see, then who governs? You see? The second point is that if you say a group of stalwarts, now let me just take a simplistic approach of using the word stalwarts from the way it's defined, from where I looked. It means someone who has been loyal to the organization, has been there for a long time, and I want to ask whether Comrade President Jacob Zuma does not qualify to be a stalwart. So when you form that group of stalwarts, must you exclude him? Would KP Mapato not qualify as a stalwart? There are many ANC leaders that I can make reference to. So that's when it gets problematic. But beyond that, when you say that the organization is captured from the top to the bottom, so the essence of the argument then changes. It should be then that all members of the African National Congress should resign and start afresh to be members of the African National Congress. And how do you then begin to know who is right and who is wrong?
Hold it there. Let's take Mkhal. Mkhal, you are in Peter Maritzburg. Mkhal?
How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for the call, Mkhal.
I'm okay.
Yes.
You know, Mpho, we have weak leadership that we have to agree at all levels. We have weak leadership from ANC League up until national. What you see there is it's frustration. We are frustrated on the ground. So the group that is being led by Lamola, it represents our frustrations. We are frustrated by this weak leadership at all levels. You know, the SG doesn't address anything that comes to his table. There are lots of issues that are piling up on the SG's office. Nothing is being addressed. And as a result, what you see, in the absence of leadership, that is what you see, what is happening at Luthuli House.
Mkhale, thank you very much for the call. Now, doesn't that concern you as a member of the ANC and the Youth League, that members are saying, look, we have tried, but we are not making any headway. This is the only other option.
You know, I can confirm to you, Mpho, that the African National Congress has lived for 104 years. And in that 104 years, there has never been a situation where each and every member of the African National Congress is happy about the African National Congress. It is not possible. The SG of the ANC puts it better. Now, what is important, therefore, that's why we call it an organization, but it must be organized. The way we organize an organization then determines the people who are willing to be members. Now, what is important is that when you are a member and you feel that there is something that you are not happy about, you should then raise that issue within structures of the organization. I can tell you, if every member of the African National Congress were to go on TV, on radio, those issues, the ANC would not attend to them because they did not come to them. As Gwede puts it very well, the SG, he says, those are news. What comes to us is what we attend to. But what we see on the media, those are news we read like all other citizens.
Tabsing, you are in the Val.
Hello, how are you, Mpho?
I'm well. Thanks for the call, Tabsing.
I'm fine. It's sad what we see today in this life. The ANC now is doomed if they fire Zuma, and they are doomed if they don't. The ANC inherited my vote in 1999 when I first started to vote. But when you see people who protect defend the undefendable, that really speaks volume to the character of people like the other gentleman there who speaks and defends the undefendable. I wish well to Mr. Lamula, and I hope they will take heed, because if they do not, it's really going down.
Okay, Tabsing, thank you very much. Lamula, surely you thought about the fact that this is a fest. I mean, the ANC is known to close ranks, if I may use the phrase. But this time around, we are seeing you guys coming out, quarreling in public and fighting, wearing the same T-shirts, you know.
You know, Mpho, It's not an easy thing to do what we have done. It's a painful decision that you have to take, because you are sitting at home, you are worried, you are seeing that there is no sense of agency. I think you can hear the listeners. I did not say any, you can hear. This is the feel that you get across the country. And you are sitting, you are seeing this organization dying in front of you, and you believe that this is a vehicle that can still be used to fight an economic struggle, the national democratic revolution. And you see it collapsing, and it is worrying. So it becomes a very difficult, what young people did today in their majority. Some of them were risking their lives. You have seen them. They were risking issues of employment. They were intimidated. They were risking many things, including business opportunities, education, a lot of things. So you must not take it lightly when you see a member end up arriving in the Luthuli House. It is excruciating pain. It's not an easy decision. So I just hope that the leadership will hit the call. I mean, the veterans have written letters, they've done everything. There's nothing they haven't done. And the youth can't behave like veterans. You can't write letters also follow the queue. We are young people who must be able to express our way in a manner in which we believe that our issues will be heard, our issues will be registered. And that's what we're doing. We are going to continue to engage with members of the ANC across the country, to engage them on what we think should be the move going forward to restore this organization. Because we still believe ourselves as the youth can be able to arrest the situation.
Temba Mtata.
Look, Mpho, how are you, man?
I'm well, thanks for the call.
I'm fine. Look, I'm Londoloze. Can I give you an advice from the ground? Londoloze, stop defending the undefended to the undefendable. The president of the ANC is the problem. There's an Ngandla issue. The constitutional court judgment. There's a lot of the Gupta. Even the deputy minister came out and said everything. Nothing was done. Stop defending the wrong. You are destroying this organization. You must please stop it, guys. Just be honest. The president is the problem. There can be other problems, but the majority of the problems come from the president. Why you are coward? You can't say that. You are behaving like coward, guys. Just be honest with us. We'll be satisfied by your honesty.
Okay. Don't defend the indefensible.
Well, I wouldn't know what is indefensible. What we are merely saying here is that you can't have a situation where what happened in terms of the electoral decline is blamed to the president as the sole cause and the reason for that.
Look, do you think there's a problem in the ANC?
Well, the ANC, there are concerns. That's why even as the Youth League, we have called for an early conference, because we believe that there are concerns that we want to raise with the leadership. And those concerns, unfortunately, Mpho, I am not going to raise them here. I will await an appropriate platform and raise them there.
So that's the platform which Lamula cannot wait for.
You know, Mpho, the movement is declining at an alarming rate. The economy is in decline. We are not growing at the rate which can create employment for the youth of this country. We need a sense of agency. And that's what I do not get from my brother, Comrade Blondoloz, who is I don't have a problem with it. But I also do not get a sense of agency from the ANC. And if you don't get a sense of agency, both from the ANC and from the Youth League, therefore the future looks bleak. That's why you hear the frustrations from the callers. It's because of this. That's why members, they could not come today to Luthuli House, but they expressed these views on various platforms. Okay. And the leadership is aware of these issues.
Siamo in Rustenburg.
No, thanks. I want to understand, there are certain dubious things I hear from Comrade Lamola, which to me only sounds like grandstanding and an obsession to want to be in the public domain. One, the ANC Youth League has made a call to say that we are obviously going to have conference in 2017. Let it be brought closer so that we deal with our internal issues and close them. The second thing is that the ANC will not respond to issues that are brought in an unorganizational fashion. When you collect 100 people and organize them to go to the Luthuli House, you are not necessarily making a point. Many of those people, for instance, the ANC have had regional meetings throughout the weekend.
Most of them were held in Mpumalanga. You could not have spotted Comrade Lamola in any of those because comrades are hell-bent in raising their issues and their frustrations where media can capture them.
Okay.
And the unfortunate part is that such is only inflicting pain into the ANC, is not helping the situation. So we need comrades who can begin with and make use of structures to resolve challenges of the ANC. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lamola, what's your response?
We did what he's talking about after the Constitutional Court judgment. We went to our branches, we raised everything. PGC said, nothing happened, Mpho. It did not happen. And
why don't you then agree that you...
This process we're
I
in
want
now.
to use your language now.
This process we're in now, Mpho,
Yes.
is going to yield the same results that they are going to whitewash these current local government elections.
I want to use your language, Lamola. I want to use your language. Why don't you agree that you were cowed by the processes, by the internal processes of the ANC? That your views could not emerge at branch level?
No. They did emerge from branches, but they ended up somewhere when they said the NEC met and anonymously resolved to accept the apology.
Okay.
And that's where they are going to resolve to... They were going to handle this issue of local government again the same way.
Can I correct Comrade Lamola? I believe that Comrade Lamola, you are a member here in Gauteng. And if that knowledge is correct, Gauteng held a provincial general council. And the PGC of the ANC in Gauteng, those are branches of the ANC in Gauteng, said, we do accept the apology of the president. Therefore, the issues that were raised of resignation was taken out. The
PGC said he must self-introspect. They said he must self-introspect.
No. The PGC kept very, very clear. Even the statement, if you can look for it, of Gauteng, it's very
clear. They said he must self-introspect.
Let's get this clear. Mlondi, do you, as the ANC Youth League, believe that President Jacob Zuma is the best leader at the moment to lead the ANC and the Republic of South Africa? Something which they don't?
President Jacob Zuma is the president of South Africa and that of the ANC, period. When you say he's the best, it's like we're comparing. There is another South Africa, then there is this South Africa, then we must compare.
Well, they are saying that they don't want him.
They are not saying that. They say they don't want him. They are not saying that there is another leader leading South Africa somewhere, that when they compare him and the president, they think that the other is better.
So in this case, is President Jacob Zuma the best that the ANC can give to South Africans?
We believe that when we come from conference, we elect the best capable leaders to lead the organization.
Is that your view?
No, our view is that if the ANC is to renew itself, there is no way that President Zuma can lead the renewal process. And if President Zuma does not step down in the next 3-6 months, the ANC might no longer be able to arrest the decline. So this process of renewal must be led by a new process which will breathe fresh air into the structures.
Who is funding you?
To do what? You mean...
Wow. That's talk. I mean, the Youth League says you are funded by... There's some 5 million rand that has been...
In fact, they should have questioned the Indian bank of 5 million that bought the house for the president. But ourselves, members funded themselves on their own. The branches, the guys who came there, all of them, they funded their transport, they funded everything that they use. It's a voluntary arrangement. There is no central fund, there's nothing. People just said, we're just going to Luthuli House.
Does the dialogue continue?
Yeah, no, we continue, even outside here.
In fact, we want to invite them, Mpho, that now that they are putting time frames of when the president, they want him to resign. Leave the resignation. They are coming closer to our call for the early conference. They must get closer to us to consolidate.
No, I say he can't lead the process to an early conference.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much for the time. Indeed, this is something that has to be revisited. I guess I don't think we've really had the end of it. But that was question time for today. A big thank you from me and the rest of the crew. You have yourself a wonderful time.